When you heard the name Ergu while in your mother's womb, you laughed so hard that you nearly turned her amniotic fluid into soda. Mother said that whoever came out first would be the one named Ergu. You immediately turned your head and tried to crawl back inside, so you wouldn't have to be Ergu. On that day, your twin sister was stubborn and wouldn't come out first. The nurse got so angry that she said this baby is doing a reverse parking maneuver for a driving test. Seeing that your sister might be pushed out at any moment, you quickly gave her innocent bottom a kick. 10 minutes later, you and your sister, cleaned and washed by the nurse, were lying beside Mother Fu Shubao. Mother saw that there was one boy and one girl. Your father was changing. Just then, Mother noticed a blue footprint on Sister Mu Yulu's bottom. Mother laughed out loud and said, "Was our daughter kicked out by her brother?" Father looked closely at Sister's bottom and confirmed that it was indeed a footprint. He said, "My son is truly amazing," and lovingly kissed your little foot. You jerked your little foot and kicked it straight into Mu Yangquan's face. Father was shocked at first, then laughed heartily. "He's got spirit." Mother Fu Shubao rolled her eyes and retorted sarcastically, "Your son's wife will also have a handful." She looked at you and Mu Yulu. This little devil was born just 1 minute after his sibling. Although they are twins, they don't look exactly alike. Look, this little devil weighed 6 Jin 8 Liang at birth. Plump and fleshy, just like a rice dumpling. Look at sister, she's only 3 Jin 7 Liang, just like a tiny little monkey. How is there such a difference between these two children? Could the brother have soaked up all the nutrition? Fu Shubao looked at you. There was a complaint on her lips but love in her eyes. This boy will surely grow up to be a little rascal. Father was annoyed upon hearing this. Who says my son is a rascal? Is my son difficult to raise? What kind of mother says such things about her own son? Before she could answer, a young couple arrived at the door. They had flowers in their hands and were holding a cute little girl. Just then, the blonde woman, Shu Jiqing, looked at Mother and said with a laugh, "I'm warning you. If you treat my son-in-law badly, I will pick him up and take him to my house." Fu Shubao laughed. Okay, take him. I'm not even worried about it." Su Jiqing gave the flowers to Shen Mingxi and pushed her. Go on, give these flowers to your mother-in-law and look at your future husband." 1-year-old Mingxi didn't understand the word husband, but her eyes fell on the 2 babies in the crib. She took the flowers to the crib, stared without blinking, and tried to place the flowers inside. Su Jiqing laughed. Our Mingxi is so young and already knows how to give flowers to her husband. But these flowers are for your mother-in-law. Remember, in the future you will have to earn flowers for your husband yourself. So, Fu Shubao and Shu Jiqing are best friends from college and their husbands are childhood friends, and they had already decided that if they had a boy and a girl, they would get them engaged. Now that Fu Shubao has given birth to boy-girl twins, Shu Jiqing was very happy and came to the hospital with all the supplies. Is that the son-in-law? Su Jiqing took the flowers from Mingxi's hand and peeked into the crib. Fu Shubao pointed. The one inside is the sister, the one outside is the brother. Shu Jiqing pointed at you on the outside and said to Mingxi, "Lovely daughter, this is your husband." Mingxi was not angry when the flowers were taken away. She wrinkled her nose and reached out her hand curiously. As soon as her hand reached halfway, you opened your big eyes. Mingxi's hand stopped in mid-air. She laughed. Look, he woke up after seeing his wife. Our Mingxi's is the first person to see Mu Ge. Yes. This is a matter of fate. Mingxi, you will have to take good care of your husband and mother-in-law. Everyone in the room was happy, except for the father Mu Yangquan, who sat sadly in the corner. He waited for 10 months, but his son did not see him first. Time went by. In 6 months, your weight became equal to your sister's. Both siblings began to look alike, but their temperaments were worlds apart. Sister Mu Yulu was quiet and smart, while you wouldn't sit still for a moment. Mother Fu Shubao was worried every day, especially because of your eating habits. You would eat slowly, which would make Mom's temper hit the roof and she would get frustrated, time and again. One day, Zhu Jiqing and Mengxi came over. She was feeding you, but you kept the rice in your mouth without chewing. Mom shouted in anger, "You devil, if you don't want to eat, I'll feed this to the dog." Hog. As soon as she finished speaking, Mom spooned the rice straight into Sister Mu Yulu's mouth. You saw this, and an equation formed in your mind, sister equals dog. At the next spoonful, you pointed your finger toward your sister. Mom's face turned black with rage. It looked as if she was going to pick you up and throw you into the trash bin from the 18th floor. Sister Mu Yulu was happily eating, holding her own bowl. She thought you were calling her, so she looked at you and gave a silly smile. Shen Mengxi saw that your sister had eaten, but you hadn't eaten anything. She quietly went to Mom and held out her small hand. Mom asked, "Does Mengxi want to feed Muja?" Mengxi nodded her head vigorously. Mom breathed a sigh of relief and handed the bowl to Mengxi. Zhu Jiqing laughed when she saw this. The little girl doesn't want to let her husband starve to death. Fu Shubao clutched her head. Does this boy have hyperactivity? Zhu Jiqing also sighed. She is very quiet. I think she has autism. She can sit for days without saying a word. Both mothers looked at each other and sighed in unison. How difficult it is to raise children. On the other side, Mengxi was patiently feeding you. She would wait until you swallowed. In this way, the whole bowl was finished. Fu Shubao was left stunned. Mengxi has so much patience. I wish I had that much patience, then I wouldn't get angry every day. She jokingly said to Zhu Jiqing, "If you can't stand him, take this devil to your house. Whoever's husband it is their responsibility." No problem. Zhu Jiqing slapped her thigh loudly. You spoke the truth. I really like this idea. My daughter doesn't care about anything. She only worries about this Muj. Shall we raise all 3 kids together? Her eyes lit up. That is a great idea, but how do we raise them together? Zhu Jiqing explained the plan. We buy flats in that new complex. The kindergarten is nearby. My husband can get a cheaper rate from the developer. We will buy flats right next to each other. Both agreed immediately. Fu Shubao wanted to move anyway because the old neighborhood women gossiped too much. Within a month, both families shifted into larger flats. The space in between was joined together for the children to play. Both families celebrated a housewarming party together, and neighborly life began. The doors always remained open. Mengxi loved staying at home. But you would run to the neighbor's house 10 times a day. Father would have to drag you back. You even wanted to sleep there. Your sister Mu Yulu became your shadow. Wherever you went, she would follow behind. With Mu Yulu and Shen Mengxi, you became the favorite of both families. Whenever you went out, you had 2 bodyguards with you. You were very fearless and short-tempered. At 1.5 years old, you would fight older kids and put bugs from the path into your mouth. But your face was very cute. That is why no one could get angry at you. Your parents were afraid to take you out lest you pick something up from the ground and eat it and eat it. One evening, Father took all 3 of you children for a walk. As soon as you stepped out of the elevator, you started struggling to get down. Father put you down and told you to be careful. You started running like an untamed horse. Suddenly, you fell face first into the grass. You got up. Your face was dirty. But you said nothing happened. I will not cry. I am very brave. You went to Father and held out your dirty hands. What did you find? Father's face turned pale. Hale, was this son still any good? Father grabbed you by the hair and dragged you home. Upon reaching home, he washed your hands 18 times with soap and sniffed them to ensure the smell was gone. Then he drew poop on a whiteboard to explain to you that you shouldn't touch dirty things. You said yes with your mouth, but in your heart you didn't believe a thing. Time passed. You and your sister turned 2 years old. Mengxi from next door started going to kindergarten. You habitually ran to the house next door, but Mengxi was not there. You asked Ji Qing, where did sister go? Zhu Jiqing stroked your head. Sister Mengxi has gone to kindergarten. You were surprised. Kindergarten? Is it like a hamburger? Is it tasty? Zhu Jiqing explained that there are many children there. You asked, is it fun there? Zhu Jiqing pinched your cheeks and told you how many toys there are and that it is fun. I also want to go to kindergarten. You ran home. Father was about to leave for the office. You grabbed his leg. I want to go to kindergarten too. Father knelt down and explained, no son, you need to be 3 years old for kindergarten. You counted on your fingers and claimed, Papa, I am 3 years old now. Father patted your head. No son, not this year. We will go next year. You got angry. You started stomping your feet. I want to go right now. Father tried to scare you. Kindergarten is boring. Mom and Dad aren't there. But Auntie said, it's fun there. Sister Mengxi has gone. Papa doesn't want to send me. Papa's a liar. Father got worried. He explained that the school wouldn't take you. He pleaded that we would go next year. You angrily turned toward the wall and pouted. Father laughed. He realized that grown men are just as hard to convince. In the afternoon, the neighbor, Shen Qian, came to pick up Mengxi. He saw you sitting in the corner facing the wall. Shen Qian laughed. Hey, why are you sitting here like a doorman? Mom came out holding a spoon. She said he wanted to go to kindergarten. He's gotten angry. He's been sitting here since morning. It's hard to handle him. Shen Qian laughed and said, send him. Let him try. He is my son-in-law. He won't last even half a day. He'll come back crying. Mom was worried that you were too young. Shen Qian reassured her, don't worry, my future son-in-law won't be unhappy. The next day, you and your sister were put in Mengxi's class. Father stood hidden outside the gate, hoping that as soon as you cried, he would take you away. He waited for a long time. The other children were crying, but your crying voice was never heard. Inside, you were sitting in a circle of children, looking around curiously. A child asked, do you have sisters? Can you give me a sister? You got angry. You hid both sisters in your arms. You shouted, I hate candy the most. But your eyes were fixed on the colorful candy in that child's hand. Just then, someone placed something in your hand. It was your favorite QQ candy. You felt better and said to Mengxi, thank you, Sister Mengxi. You opened the candy, gave half to Sister Muyulu and half to Mengxi. Mengxi noticed your saliva was all over the candy. She made a face. You eat it. I don't like candy. You jumped with joy and ate the whole candy yourself. It was time to sunbathe outside. The teacher placed a towel over everyone's face. You couldn't sit still. You teased Mengxi and started looking around. Just then your eyes fell on a big green bug sitting on a leaf. Seeing the chance, you picked up the bug and hid it in your pocket. Then you went back to your chair and sat up straight. Mengxi had seen you, but she didn't tell the teacher. She straightened her back and blocked the teacher's view. Sunbathing time was over. The children formed a train and returned to the classroom. Now it was snack time. You got up and ran to the teacher asking, can I eat first? The teacher knew you were the youngest in class and had come with special permission. The teacher smiled and said, everyone will get some, but you must wash your hands first. You shouted loudly, and after washing hands, the teacher gave everyone cake and milk. You finished the cake in 2 bites and gulped down the milk. There was milk all around your mouth. Mengxi raised her eyebrows. She took out a handkerchief, grabbed you, and carefully wiped your mouth. Seeing this, the teacher smiled, took a photo, and sent it to Xu Jiaxing. Xu Jiaxing put the photo in the family group. Everyone praised Mengxi. After finishing the snack, you remembered your bug. You searched your pocket, but it wasn't there. You opened your pocket wide to check. It was empty. You were stunned. Where did it go? You lay on the ground and started looking under the table. Mengxi asked, what are you looking for? You remembered your parents' prohibition. You shook your head vigorously. I am not looking for anything. Then suddenly a girl screamed loudly. You turned and saw that your green bug had climbed onto a girl's chair. You lunged, picked up the bug, and put it back in your pocket. The girl was stunned at first, then started crying even louder. She was more afraid of you than the bug. In the afternoon, when Mu Yangquan went to pick you up, the teacher unexpectedly complained. The teacher's face was a sight to behold. Even she was seeing a child with such audacity for the first time. Had a headache too. Your son's habit of picking things up wasn't a day or two old. Picking up bugs was still okay. But after all, he was his own son, no matter how mischievous, naive. He couldn't just be thrown away. So she just had to put on an apologetic smile in front of the teacher. After returning home, Mu Yangquan looked at you with worried eyes. Son, if it's like this, what if you don't find a wife in the future? Then he remembered that this little devil's engagement was already decided in childhood. Thinking of this, Mu Yangquan's eyes suddenly softened, with affection for Shen Mengxi. This daughter-in-law must be held on to tightly. Not just held on to, but I must prepare her myself to find peace of mind. In the afternoon, you picked up the bowl and ate your food yourself without anyone chasing you. As soon as you were done, you impatiently told Mu Yangquan to hurry up, quote, quickly take me and sister to kindergarten. Quan's face suddenly turned sad. Does my dear son not want me anymore? 2 or 3 minutes later, at the kindergarten gate, Quan saw you holding Mu Yulu's hand and happily walking inside without even looking back. His heart suddenly felt heavy. With red eyes, he secretly wiped away a tear. But when he saw others crying loudly and no one willing to go inside, he suddenly felt very proud. His back straightened even more. That's my son. He has brought glory to my name. From 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. was the children's nap time. You and Mu Yulu were put to sleep on the same bed. At this time, you were patting Mu Yulu's back like a little elder. After putting her to sleep, you hugged yourself and soon fell asleep too. Your sleeping habits were very bad. Like a little thug, you slept on your stomach with your legs spread out, hogging half the bed, all by yourself. Poor Mu Yulu was pushed right to the edge. Shen Mengxi, sleeping on the neighboring bed, watched you sleeping. She got up from the bed. She saw that your shirt had ridden up and your white, soft belly was exposed. Then she slightly furrowed her brows and pulled a small blanket from Mu Yulu's bed to cover you. Then she went back to her bed with satisfaction. You woke up to the sound of children crying. Many children woke up and started crying for their parents. When the teacher would quiet one, another would start crying. Among them, one plump girl was crying the loudest. She was crying and calling out for her grandmother. Her face was smeared with tears and snot. The teacher wiped her face with a towel and explained, lovingly, "Baby, you have to behave like a good child. Otherwise the teacher won't like you and will like others instead." The teacher hadn't even finished speaking when a small head poked out. You were standing right next to the teacher. Your hair was all messy. You looked at the girl and said, "Yes, I am the other one the teacher likes. This chubby girl was the one who had sat next to you that morning and gotten scared." As soon as she saw your face, she started screaming even louder. The teacher looked at your innocent, cute face, feeling both amused and annoyed. When school let out in the evening, this time, Zhu Jigang came to pick you up. She was standing at the gate, smiling. You came out holding her daughter's hand. "Baby, you didn't cry at school today, did you?" You replied, "Seriously, Auntie, I'm very busy at school. I have to make friends, play with toys, and keep other kids away from my sisters." "There's no time to cry." Zhu Jiking laughed. She took your hand and said, "Our Much has been working very hard. I've made some delicious food for you. Will you come to Auntie's house for dinner tonight?" You nodded, but then you remembered something. "Can I take my sisters along too?" Zhu Jiking nodded without any hesitation. "Oh, of course." Shen Mengxi saw that her mother was only talking to you and suddenly felt like she didn't know who the real child was. It was originally thought that after the initial excitement wore off, you wouldn't insist on going to kindergarten, but you kept it up for the entire semester. Not only did you go to school on time every day, but you became the most popular kid in class. Children's thinking was very simple. You had two sisters that they didn't have. So they thought you were very powerful and had great courage. You always brought strange things to school. You even brought a newborn kitten in your bag. The kids loved playing with you. Even that chubby girl became your follower. In the blink of an eye, kindergarten, small class life was over. You, Mu Yulu, and Shen Mengxi were now heading to the middle class, and you had recently developed a love for hearing stories. You insisted on hearing stories from your parents every day, and wouldn't sleep until you heard one. Quan was telling you a story about a princess and a prince. Mu Yulu fell asleep quickly, but your eyes were wide open like bells. "Papa, what happened to the princess and the prince next?" Mu Yangquan saw your curious eyes and suddenly came up with an idea. Then they had a lovely baby and began telling him stories every day. Hearing this, you fell asleep in contentment. Seeing you sleep, Mu Yangquan breathed a sigh of relief. "Son, everything is fine. He just has too much energy, and his questions keep growing as he gets older." Why has this turned into 10,000 whys? Thinking of this, Mu Yangquan became worried. What if one day my son asks a question I don't know the answer to? Will he think his dad is useless? I must show my son that I am the strongest dad in the world. Meanwhile, in the master bedroom, she had taken an especially nice bath today. When Yangquan entered the room, she went to him to let him smell her new body wash, but Mu Yangquan pulled a thick encyclopedia out from the bookshelf. "Wife, you go to sleep first. I will read for a little longer," Fu Shubao said angrily. "Before marriage, I didn't know you were such a bookworm." She stepped forward in a rage, snatched the book from his hand, and said, "Tell me the truth. Do you have someone else outside?" Mu Yangquan was stunned. Bao looked at him coldly. "If you don't want to see me, just say so directly. Don't use reading books as an excuse." Mu Yangquan scratched his head. "Oh no, I'm just afraid that when my son asks questions, I won't be able to answer." He couldn't understand why his wife had suddenly become so angry. Other people raised children and I had a son, and am now raising myself. Fu Shubao gave a cold laugh. She shoved the books into his hands and pushed him out of the room along with them. "If you like reading so much, go outside and read alone." The next morning, after breakfast, instead of going to the study as usual, you took Mu Yulu's hand and went downstairs. Mu Yulu was holding your hand tightly. She was afraid that you might get lost. She said that children cannot run around alone. You pulled her hand and kept moving forward without looking back. "Mom and Dad are fighting. We have to help them." Mu Yulu looked at you in surprise. "Are Mom and Dad fighting?" She took a breath. "Mom hasn't spoken to Dad since this morning. Dad is the one who made Mom angry. We have to help Dad." Mu Yulu blinked. How are we going to help Dad? You leaned your head toward Mu Yulu's ear and whispered, Mom is most afraid of bugs. We'll catch a bug and put it on Mom's clothes, so Dad can play the hero. Mu Yulu's face showed disbelief. But what if Mom sees us? You shook your head gently. Dad will protect us like a real hero. But Mu Yulu was still worried. Will he really protect us? At this moment, you waved your small hand, signaling to hurry up. Let's go. Otherwise, Mom and Dad will catch us. You were the first to head down to the garden to look for bugs. A while later, Fu Shubao was cooking when she suddenly screamed loudly. Mu Yanquan, who was cleaning shoes, grabbed a half-clean slipper and ran to the kitchen. You and Mu Yulu shouted. But instead of running inside like always, you hid at the kitchen door and peeked in. Fu Shubao was pointing nervously toward the cupboard. A bug? Over there? Wife, don't be afraid. I'll finish it off right now. Saying this, Mu Yanquan raised the slipper and got ready to hit that black bug in the hinges. Seeing this, Fu Shubao felt relieved. Thank you. Seeing Mu Yanquan and Fu Shubao reconcile, you and Mu Yulu gathered at the door again, covering your mouths, with small hands and giggling. Fu Shubao took a deep breath. When she saw you and Mu Yulu hiding and watching at the door, a strange expression appeared on her face. She coughed lightly and said, All right, you guys go outside. Wife, should I stay to help you? Mu Yanquan didn't want to leave. She refused. Last night's matter won't be forgotten just like that. I will settle the score with you later. But as soon as you and your father turned to go out, Fu Shubao suddenly felt something was strange. Where did it come from? She called out to the three of you and, looking at you with suspicion, asked, Is this your doing? I forbade you from bringing anything into the house. Why don't you kids ever listen? Fear of getting caught. You grabbed Mu Yulu's hand and ran toward the neighbors, but the neighbor's door was locked. Usually when someone is home, the door stays open. A locked door means no one is home. Both you and Mu Yulu were stunned. Mu Yulu grabbed your hand tightly in fear. You looked at the neighbor's closed door and comforted yourself, or perhaps Mu Yulu. At most, we'll just get a scolding. It's no big deal. Saying this, you proudly took Mu Yulu by the hand and returned home. As soon as you got home, you lay down on the sofa and said in your innocent voice, Mom, I made a mistake. You can spank me. Mu Yulu looked at you and silently came to lie down beside you. Seeing the siblings raising their bottoms ready to be punished, Fu Shubao felt both angry and amused. Mu Yanquan looked at both of you, then at Fu Shubao, and said, Should I go and lie down too? You can spank me too, so you can vent your anger. Fu Shubao burst into laughter. She looked at all three of you in mock anger and said, Fine, spanking you will only make my hand hurt. You guys make your own lunch. Wife, you just relax. Yeah, I will cook today's meal. Mu Yanquan said quickly. Then he gestured to both of you. You two come and help Dad too. Okay. You jumped off the sofa quickly and pulling Mu Yulu along said, I told you Dad would protect us. Mu Yulu looked at you happily and said, Yes, brother is right. In the afternoon, you went to the neighbors again and upon returning asked Mu Yanquan, Dad, where did Auntie and Sister Mengshi go? Mu Yanquan picked you up and explained, Your Sister Mengshi's grandfather has injured his leg. They have gone there. When he gets better, Sister Mengshi will come back. Actually, Suzy King and her husband had received a call in the middle of the night that Grandpa Shen had gotten up at night and fallen. The couple took their daughter and arrived at the hospital in their hometown overnight. Because they are busy with work and can never go back, this time they took a week off to stay with Grandpa. You and Shen Mengshi have been together since childhood. This was the first time you were separated for such a long time. You used to go to the neighbors 10 times a day. Now you started checking every few minutes to see if they had returned or not. Why hasn't Sister Mengshi come yet? You kept asking Mu Yanquan and Fu Shubao this every day. Eventually, you started getting up every morning and sitting on a small stool by the door. A week later, the elevator opened and Suzy King's family returned. Mu Yanquan and Fu Shubao breathed a sigh of relief. You had been asking way too much lately. If they hadn't come any sooner, you probably would have slept by the door all night. As soon as the elevator door opened and Su Zeching's family stepped out, you ran over and hugged Shen Mengshi with your tiny hands. Sister Mengshi, you finally came. I was so sad while waiting for you. Shen Mengshi was startled for a moment. She was surprised to see you suddenly appear, and after a while she said in a low voice, I'm sorry. At this moment you shook your head innocently. It's okay. But Sister Mengshi, can you take Muge with you in the future? Wherever Sister Mengshi goes, Muge will also go. You nodded seriously. Let's make a promise. You took Shen Mengxi's hand, hooking your little finger around hers. It won't change for 100 years. Your innocent voice was as soft as melted toffee. Just then a sudden meow was heard. A small head was peeking out from Xu Ziqing's new handbag. Your gaze met its curious and innocent eyes. Your eyes lit up. How cute this is. No one can say no to a kitten, and you certainly couldn't. Sister Mengxi, can I touch it? You looked at Shen Mengxi with your moist big eyes. Of course. Shen Mengxi took the cat out of the bag and brought it in front of you. You reached out your small hand and touched it gently. The little one didn't try to run away, just made a soft sound twice. You beamed with joy. Your eyes curved like crescents. You looked up and asked, Sister Mengxi, let's name it. It feels so soft. Shall we call it Puff Puff? Shen Mengxi looked at you. Names given by greedy children are always related to food. Xu Ziqing standing nearby smiled. I wondered why this naughty girl suddenly wanted to keep a cat. Turns out it's from you. Shen Mengxi put the kitten on the ground and dropped some fish-shaped biscuits to feed it. The biscuits smelled good and the fish shape was very cute. They looked very delicious. You drooled and asked Shen Mengxi, Sister Mengxi, what flavor are these biscuits? Can I have a bite? This time Shen Mengxi refused without hesitation. But when she wasn't looking, you snuck a biscuit from the packet and quickly popped it into your mouth. By the time Shen Mengxi saw it, it was too late. She put on a stern face, spit it out quickly. Why do you eat everything? You covered your mouth with your small hands. You swallowed the biscuit without chewing, and then opened your mouth to show, gone, gone. Shen Mengxi was stunned. She had to take you to wash your hands and scolded you. Don't eat things blindly. In the future, it is for, if humans eat it, their stomach will hurt, and if bacteria gets in, you could even die. Will I die even from eating just one bite? You raised your little head. There was a slight shock in your eyes. Shen Mengxi nodded seriously. You will die even from eating just one bite. You were stunned. Is Muge gonna die soon? Tears welled up in your eyes. Your innocent voice was filled with fear and sadness. Shen Mengxi made a stern face to scare you. If you steal food again, your stomach will hurt and then you will die. I won't eat it. Muge, we'll never eat it again. You immediately covered your mouth with your hands and began shaking your head vigorously. In the blink of an eye, you were 6 years old. Shen Mengxi had also reached the age to go to primary school. You did not want to stay in kindergarten. You wanted to go to the first grade with Shen Mengxi and other children. But this time, even Mu Yangakwan could do nothing. After all, you and Mu Yulu were too young, and using connections did not work. You just had to hold the cat Pao Fu in your arms, and stand in front of the balcony window, watching, with sad eyes as Shen Qian and Xu Jiaqing dropped Shen Mengxi off at school. Until they disappeared completely, you looked away, and said, Pao Fu, let's go to school too. Saying this, you ran into the room, took out your bag, put Pao Fu in it. If Mom and Dad don't send me, I will go myself. Brother, Mu Yulu, who was standing nearby, ran over to help. Are you okay? You picked up your slightly heavy bag and said, I have to go to school. Mu Yulu immediately took out her small bag. Wherever brother goes, I will go too. Thus, you and Mu Yulu left the house, holding hands. Wearing your bag, you made yourself a first grade student and entered the school. Very easily. But you didn't know which class Shen Mengxi was in. So you and Mu Yulu had to search every classroom one by one. Just then you ran into the principal, who was on duty at the gate. When he saw you running around like headless chickens, he called out, Kids, what grade in class are you in? You looked up at him, not scared at all, and said in your soft voice, We've come to study in the first grade. So do you know where your classroom is? The principal asked with a smile. You couldn't answer. You just put your soft finger in front of his lips and said, Shh. Grandpa, don't say anything yet, we'll find it soon. The principal found this interesting. He wanted to see how you were going to find the classroom. So he followed you and even pointed the way. The first grade classrooms are over that way. Thank you, Grandpa. You immediately pulled Mu Yulu's hand and ran in that direction. There were a total of 4 first grade classrooms. You stood at the doors, stood on your tiptoes, and poked your heads in to peek, one by one. Finally, in the last classroom, you saw Shen Mengxi sitting in the back row. Found it. Your eyes suddenly lit up. The principal watched for a long time to see how exactly you would find it. But he still called over a young female teacher. Little Lai, I recall you are the teacher for this class, right? Take these 2 little students into your class. Yes, the young teacher said, looking at you and Mu Yulu. Thinking the principal had brought them himself, they must be his relatives. Her gaze softened and she said kindly, both students, come with me. You waved at the principal. Goodbye, Grandpa. The principal smiled and nodded, truly a very polite, good child. Shen Mingxi was sitting in the last row of the classroom. When she saw the teacher walking in, with two familiar faces, she blinked in surprise. Her beautiful eyebrows immediately furrowed. How did these two get here? Alright, what are your names? She asked, looking at you and Mu Yulu with a smile. They are relatives of principal. I must remember their names well. You replied, teacher. I am Muge and this is my older sister Mu Yulu. The teacher flipped through the list of new students. These two students are not in this class. At this moment, Shen Mingxi suddenly stood up from her seat. Teacher, they have come to the wrong class. I will take them back. Teacher Little Li hadn't even reacted yet when Shen Mingxi walked forward with long strides. She grabbed your hand and Mu Yulu's hand and led you out of the classroom. Shen Mingxi took you outside the classroom and then stopped. How did you two get here? You blinked your big eyes. Your heart was a little scared. We wanted to come to school. Shen Mingxi immediately understood what had happened. She pointed to her wristwatch. You two, stay standing right here. As soon as she said this, she immediately took out her phone watch and called Mu Yangquan. Only then did Mu Yangquan find out that you and Mu Yulu had gone missing. As soon as he got Shen Mingxi's call, he reached the school immediately. Son, we really cannot go to school this year. Dad promises next year, I will definitely send you to the first grade, okay? Mu Yangquan managed to coax you with great difficulty and brought you back home. And to calm you down in the afternoon, Mu Yangquan and Fu Shubao took you out to eat. At the restaurant, Fu Shubao put a piece of meat in your bowl. You cut off the lean part directly and put the remaining fatty part into Mu Yulu's bowl. This time Fu Shubao saw it and forbade it. You cannot give the part you didn't eat to your sister. You said with your innocent big eyes. Sister likes it. Likes it. She nodded continuously. Yes, I like it. And to prove it to Fu Shubao, Mu Yulu quickly picked up your leftover fatty meat and ate it in one gulp. Fatty meat is actually good. Fu Shubao looked at Mu Yulu in frustration. She is truly foolish. After this, Fu Shubao tried to explain it to you. Even if sister likes it, no. Children should not be picky. You shouldn't be a picky eater. Mu Yangquan also agreed immediately. Mom is saying it right. Look, we adults don't get picky. You puffed up your cheeks, there was a lot of resentment in your heart. Adults don't get picky because they only order what they like, and adults are cheating us children. Mu Yangquan and Fu Shubao were left looking at each other. So it seems. The plan to go to elementary school failed. You and Mu Yulu were forced to repeat the senior kindergarten class, D-Ban. Both the elementary school and kindergarten were close to home. Especially the path to kindergarten we have walked for 3 years, and there is CCTV on the way. Both families felt that it was time to test your independence, so they decided that you would come home by yourself. First grade gets out earlier than kindergarten, so Shen Mingxi would come to kindergarten first every day to pick up you and Mu Yulu. Then the three of you would come home together. But on this day, Shen Mingxi was late because of duty. You and Mu Yulu came out of kindergarten but didn't see her. You immediately decided to go to school and look for her. But as soon as you both stepped out of kindergarten, you stopped because of the auntie selling sausages on the roadside. You and Mu Yulu were standing in front of the sausage cart, drooling. Mu Yulu was holding your hand tightly. Mom said we shouldn't eat street food, it will cause a stomach ache. But you still moved forward. I am not eating. I am just smelling it. The auntie selling sausages saw that you both were very cute, so she gave us one for free. I thought, if I take just one bite, my stomach won't ache. Mu Yulu also nodded vigorously. And Mu Yulu both took a small bite each. It's very delicious. Both of your eyes lit up. Now who cared whether there would be a stomach ache or not? You sat on the roadside taking one bite at a time and soon finished one sausage. But just then, a small dog suddenly appeared from the other side and started barking at you. Both. Mu Yulu got suddenly scared. She held your hand tightly and didn't even dare to move. Brother, a dog. Muge will protect you. You grabbed the remaining bamboo stick, the skewer, in your hand and stood in front of Mu Yulu like a shield. When Shen Mingxi finished her duty and came out, she saw you and Mu Yulu from a distance. At this moment, a small dog was standing in front of you and Mu Yulu, barking loudly. You were holding Mu Yulu's hand with one hand and clutching the bamboo stick tightly in the other. And you were barking back at the dog in the same way. Shen Mingxi furrowed her brows slightly. As she was just about to step forward to check on you when an excited voice came from nearby. It was Liu Ruyan, who was on duty with her. Are they? What if they start fighting? An image immediately flashed through Shen Mengxi's mind of you wrestling and hugging a dog. Ugh. She immediately frowned and said to Liu Ruyan, "You go home first." She jokingly said, "Oh no, I'll only go after I see the fun." She had never encountered a child fighting with a dog until today. Here, you and the dog were face to face. Fight was at its peak. Suddenly, a stone fell from the sky and hit the dog directly. The dog yelped in pain and ran away. Mimicking adults, you turned around, patted Muyulu's head, and said, "Don't be afraid." Muyulu was still scared, but she nodded vigorously and said with shining eyes, "Brother, you are very strong." On the other side, Liu Ruyan was looking at Shen Mengxi in surprise. She couldn't believe that this good girl was hitting the dog with a stone. Just then, you looked up and saw Shen Mengxi standing in front of you. You immediately pulled Muyulu's hand, ran to her, and said proudly, "I just drove the dog away." "How strong am I?" Shen Mengxi nodded. Liu Ruyan, who was standing next to Shen Mengxi, went, "Huh? Do you know this kid?" Just then, your eyes fell on Liu Ruyan. You asked, "Who are you?" Liu Ruyan said with a smile, "I am Liu Ruyan, Shen Mengxi's good friend." As she said that, she put her hand on Shen Mengxi's shoulder. Seeing this, you became sad. You looked at Mengxi and thought, Shen Mengxi's new friend has arrived. Will she not treat me well anymore? At this time, Fu Shibao had returned from the office early today. Passing by the kindergarten gate, her eyes fell on the bamboo stick you were holding in your hand. "What is in your hand?" You started trembling with fear. Mom saw it. Your first thought was to hand the stick to Muyulu. But you saw that Muyulu was scared. "No, sister will get hit." You looked towards Shen Mengxi. She is someone else's child. Mom won't hit her. Your eyes brightened. You quickly shoved the bamboo stick into Shen Mengxi's hand and, opening your big innocent eyes, said, "I didn't eat."